Welcome to Adding and Subtracting Fractions. When adding and subtracting fractions, remember that you are adding and or subtracting parts of wholes. And in our example here, we have 3/10, so you can see that we have 3 wedges colored off the total 10. So that's 3 parts of the total, plus 4 parts of 10 colored in the next one. And so together, then we would have a total of 7/10. So if you wanted, you could take the time to color in and do the addition. So always remember that when you are adding fractions, you are adding the pieces and keeping the denominator. So there we have our first example. With this example, notice now that we don't have the same size of pieces. We've got 3/4 and 2/3. Since our pieces are not the same size, we can't go ahead and add them the same as we did in the first example. We have to make sure that our pieces are the same size. And you can see here that we've drawn in green lines to recut both of these circles into 12 pieces, which is the common denominator. So to do that algebraically, we would have to multiply the first side by 3 to get our 12 pieces, and what we do to the bottom we must also do to the top. And over on the other side, to get our 12 pieces, we multiply the bottom by 4 and therefore must do the same on top. Essentially what we're doing on both sides of this equation is multiplying by a form of 1. 3/3, 4/4 are both still 1. So we're not changing the nature of our equation. So what that means then is that we have 9/12 plus 8/12, and you could count those up and see that on each of these circles that is the number of wedges we have if you count it by the green lines. And so that means then that we have a total of 17/12. Now let's do a couple without the circles. Here we have 5/6 plus 8/9, and then we're going to subtract. And recognize that subtraction will be the same process in the beginning until the very last step. Again, with fractions, we need to have our common denominator the same size of pieces of our wholes. So with 6 and 9, we need to find a common denominator, and the smallest one is preferable. So the smallest number that both of these go into is 18. So that means that 6 times 3 is 18. So we would multiply the first fraction by 3/3 to get our denominator of 18. And on the right side, multiply by 2/2 to get our 18 again. So that means that we then have 15/18 plus 16/18 for a total of 31/18. And you can change that to a mixed fraction. I'm happy to leave it there for today's exercise. Looking then at the right-hand side of this, we're looking at the subtraction. The same process would be to start. We would multiply by the 3/3 to get our common denominator, and we would multiply by the 2/2 to get our common denominator. And then, that 5 doesn't look very good, 15/18 minus 16/18, and we are left with -1/18. Adding and subtracting fractions requires a common denominator, preferably the smallest one, but some days we'll take the one we get. Good luck!